Okay, so how do we find out empirical formula? Given mass percent composition. We'll outline the steps in this video and we'll work examples in class. Okay, the first step would be to convert percent to grams. So for example, if they say 35% of a compound is carbon. So what does that mean? That means that if there were 100 grams of compound, 35 grams of it is carbon. Okay, so 35 grams. So you've converted from percent to grams, but the one important thing is that you're assuming 100 grams of compound. Second step is that you convert from grams that you've got to moles. So in the previous slide we said there is 35 grams of carbon. So convert this 35 grams to moles of carbon. The third step would be then to write out the pseudo formula. So if you got, if the problem says, or if the analysis is that there is X percent of carbon and Y percent of oxygen, you converted the percent to grams and grams to moles in both the cases. Okay, so I'm going to call this mole 1 and here we got mole 2, right? So then you write the pseudo formula as C mole 1 and O mole 2, right? And then what you do is look at these two numbers, all the moles, how many ever. In this example we took carbon and oxygen, but it could be many elements in there. Look at these two numbers, whichever is the smallest. Okay, so now let us assume that this is a smaller number. Mole 2 is a smaller number than mole 1. What you have to do is take that smaller number and divide all the moles with that number. So what you're doing is you're getting the simplest ratio. Okay, you're getting the simplest ratio. So mole 1 over mole 2 over mole 2. Okay, in this case you will of course get 1, but in this case you might get a fraction. Now if the fraction is within 0.1, say you got 10.1 or you got 6.9, right? If you get it like that, this can be rounded off to 10 and this can be rounded off to 7. Okay, so then you write the formula, empirical formula of the compound. If that is not the case, if you get 2.33 carbon 2.33 and oxygen 1, or carbon 6.45 and oxygen 1, or some number that is not within, which is not within 0.1, then what you do is you multiply the mole ratio, all the mole ratios, with a common number. You multiply all the mole ratios with a common number, so it leads to a whole number. Okay, so this is the procedure for finding out empirical formula. Understand the procedure, and then we will work out problems.